Yeah, good morning everyone. Switch on your cams, let's start off. Great. Sure, everyone is here. Let's start off. So what we're going to do today is maxima and minima. So what is this maxima and minima? Suppose if you have a function, let's say something of this sort. So these are the peaks. These are the valleys. The lower parts. So if I name these points here, 1, 2, 3, and these points 4, 5, 6. Now see, maxima does not mean it is maximum. You're getting it? So maxima meaning it's the peaks. Others, keep your cams on. So if you look at these points here, 1, 2, 3 are the peaks of the peaks. So these are the maxima points. And these are maximas. So what is the meaning of this? Maxima is nothing but in a local region, it is a maximum value. In a local region, it is maximum. When I say maxima, it does not mean it is a maximum value of the entire function. In a given region, it is a maximum value. So simply to put it, whenever you see a peak, it's a maximum. When you stand on the maxima, right side it will go down, left side also it will go down. Such a point is called maxima. 4, 5, 6 are valleys. So these are called minimas. In a local region, meaning in this small area, that is the least value. Technically speaking, this is the definition. But at 11th and 12th standard, right, we really don't go so deep. At 11th and 12th of physics, maximum meaning maximum, minimum meaning minimum. Generally, that's how it works. Because see, try to understand one thing. Look at the 6 ka value. Which is bigger, 6 or 1? 6 ka value is bigger, right? 6 is at a more height than 1. So that's what I was saying. 1 doesn't mean it's a maximum. If you see 6 ka value, which is a minima, is much more than 1. Get the point? So maximum does not mean maximum, minima does not mean minimum. Maximum, minimum simply indicate there are the valleys and the peaks. So value of a minima can be greater than maximum. For example, in this thing, 6 value, 0.6 has a greater value than 0.1. Put it up. So why do you need to learn maximum minimum? Because we keep seeing in physics, right? Find the maximum power, find the maximum velocity, find the maximum position or minimum value. So we keep encountering this maximas and minimas. So we need to know how to find a maximum and minimum value for a function. Which is at more height, right? 0.6 is at a bigger height now. Look at this. If you look at this 0.6 ka height, and if you look at 0.1 ka height, which is bigger? So 6 is at a more height compared to 1. So even though you're saying 6 is a minima, does not mean it is at a lower height. It is a valley at a much higher height. So when you say maximas and minimas, it simply indicates their valleys and peaks. That way. Copied. Turn the page. Turn the page. Next thing. So how do you locate them? First, we take a maxima. What's a maxima? It's a peak. Now, study the slope here, okay? If you take this point here, this is a tangent. If you take this point here, this is a tangent. At this point here, this is a tangent. You're getting how it is? If you take a point here, this is a tangent. Here, this is the tangent. Here, this is the tangent. Here, this is a tangent. So if you look at the slope here, the slope is positive. Then it is becoming less positive, then it becomes 0, then negative and more negative. Can you see what is happening there? The line is becoming flat and then becomes negative. No? So here, slope decreases and becomes 0 at maximum. Meaning, simply, if you see, right, at the topmost point, the line is a horizontal line. It's a peak. Slope is 0. No. So the first condition is this. So whenever you want to find a maxima, it should satisfy two conditions. What is the first condition? Slope is 0. But what is slope? dy by dx. Remember this? This was the whole definition of dy by dx. Na? It's the slope of the tangent. Hope you remember. That is the whole story we did in the beginning. Make dx very small, it becomes the slope of a tangent. Do you guys remember that? If delta x becomes very small, then the line AB becomes a tangent to the curve. And that's what we call this limit delta y by delta x as dy by dx, slope. Clear? So that's the first condition. Slope of the tangent should be 0. What is the second condition? Slope is decreasing. That means the rate of change of slope, that is d by dx of slope, is negative, decreasing. Na? So the value is negative. But what is slope again? D by dx of slope is dy by dx. This is nothing but double differential. Matlab, you have to differentiate the function 2 times and it should be negative. So if a function has dy by dx 0, I'll give you more examples, don't worry, then you'll get a better idea of it. But right now, just try to get the theory. So the first condition is dy by dx is 0. Second condition is double differential should be less than 0. If this condition is satisfied, then that point is a maxima. Put it up.
Sir,
All right.
sir, below it should be d square x square, no?
No, you write like this one. You write like dx square. You don't write dx square. It's totally not. This is not a multiplication. It's a function. It's an operator. This is how you write double differential. If triple differential, you'll write like this: d cube y by dx. That is a way of notation. So don't worry about that. This is not a regular multiplication. If it's a regular multiplication, you'll cancel d also, no? It's an operator. Put it up.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, I didn't get the second condition.
Write it up. I'll show you. That's what I was saying. I'll show you examples. Just remember double differential is less than 0. Do you understand what is the meaning of d square by dx square? You have to differentiate the function 2 times. The meaning of this is you take a function and differentiate it twice. I wrote that thing. We have to differentiate twice. We'll see. When I show you example, you'll get a better idea. All this d's and dx's and all you won't understand. It's not a maths class. I don't think even your maths teacher would explain all that stuff. These things you get a better grasp only when you start some problems. But for now, just understand. First you differentiate, again you differentiate. We do know for acceleration, we were doing this thing till last time, if you remember. How do you define acceleration? How did you get velocity? You differentiated once, no? Then whatever you got, that you differentiated again. That was a double differential. Are you getting it? First to differentiate, you'll get a function. Differentiate it again.
Yes.
That is the meaning of double differential. If you differentiate again, triple differential. To give an example, see, it looks like this. Let's say y is equal to x cube. dy by dx, 3x square. What is d square by dx square? Differentiate this guy again, 3x square, 6x. You get it? If you differentiate again, d cube y by dx cube, 6. So whatever function you got, you keep differentiating it again and again. So it goes on. Copied. Next one. Next one. So the main idea in a maxima is what? Whenever you're going to a maxima, right, the slope decreases. What's a minimum? It's a valley. Look at what happens here. The slope is negative because if you see it makes an obtuse angle. The slope is less negative. The slope becomes 0. Then the slope becomes positive. So in a minima, at this point the slope is 0. Here slope increases because see, it is going from negative to positive. Slope increases from negative to 0 to positive. So it's increasing, right? And it is 0 at exactly minima. Getting it? So in this thing, for a minima, the condition is the slope should be 0. So the same condition for maxima and minima. So that's why if you do only use condition 1, you will get confused. You don't know whether it is a maxima or a minima with only condition 1. Condition 2 is what will differentiate between maxima and minima. Condition 2, the slope increases. That means rate of change of slope is greater than 0. But slope is dy by dx. Meaning if you differentiate 2 times, you get a positive value. So the second condition is the main difference. Look at here. This is negative. This is positive. So that second condition will tell you whether it's a maxima or a minima. The first condition will not differentiate. Put it up. I'll show you how the problem looks. So I'll give you 2-3 examples and then we'll see a few more problems and then we'll get into applications. Copied. Clear? Let's see an example. Copy this. Clear? Can I done this? There
Yes.
can be infinite tangents to a slope. What you're talking? That sentence does not make sense. What you're saying? There is a tangent to the curve. It is a slope of a tangent. For a curve, there can be infinite tangents. But there are only few tangents with zero slope. Are you getting the catch? For a curve, there are infinite tangents, but all tangents don't have zero slope. There are only few points with a zero slope. Those points are maximas and minimas. Now, example, listen carefully. So let's say you have a function y is equal to x square minus 3x plus 2. You want to find the maximum or the minimum value of the function. Find the max or minimum. Since you don't know which value will come, either one of them. Value of the function. So what you have to do? Step 1. dy by dx is 0. So first you have to differentiate this function. How much is this? 2x minus 3 is 0. We get x is equal to 3 by 2. This is the first differential. What is the meaning of this? At x is equal to 3 by 2, slope is becoming 0. This point could be a maximum or minimum. So x is equal to 3 by 2. The slope is 0. This could be maxima or minima. Can be maxima or minima. We don't know. Second thing. Step 2. What is dy by dx? 2x minus 3. That was a function, right? Now, what is the second condition? D square y by dx square, which is nothing but differential of the first differential, which is d by dx of 2x minus 3, which is how much? 2, no? Right? This is 2. This is greater than 0, minimum 0, greater than 0. Now you go back, check which should be greater than 0. For a maxima, it is less than 0. For a minima, it's a greater than 0. So what is this thing? Minima, right? Second condition is greater than 0. First condition should be equal to 0. So at x is equal to 3 by 2, we get a minima. And what is the minimum value of y? Therefore, y minimum will be substitute x is equal to 3 by there. We get a minimum value at y. Hold on, I'll show it more on the next page. Just try to get the process, okay? First, you take the whatever function is given, differentiate it, equate it to 0. From there, you find x value. So at this point, the minima is occurring. Second step, after differentiating that 2x minus 3, again differentiate that function. Wait, I'll just add it up here. So this is a differential. So this 2x minus 3 should be 0. So x is 3 by 2. Now the point is, at 3 by 2, the slope is 0. So it can be a maximum or minima because both will satisfy the condition 1. But we don't know which one to take. So then we use step 2. Differentiate the function again. So 2x minus 3 again differential. We got 2, which is greater than 0. That happens for a minima. So the condition 2 is telling you at 3 by 2, you're getting a minimum value. Let me give you one more example. Don't worry, you'll get the hang of it. These problems you get only in your practice. because there's no concept here. You're actually kind of like, mugging up how to do this thing. I could give you the explanation like why it works, but after that you're simply mugging it up. And like I told you, we're not a max class. We don't need really such a high level calculations and all in this. In a max class, they'll teach you all this calculus, what I'm teaching you, for 3 months. Here we are trying to wind up everything in 3 weeks. Because if you wait for them to complete the chapter, by then physics, half the portion will be over. Copied? Turn in the page. Now, so at x is equal to 3/2, we are getting a minimum value. So why minimum happens at x is equal to 3/2. So substitute in the function. No? What is y? X square minus 3x plus 2. So 3/2 whole square minus 3 into 3/2 plus 2. 9/4 minus 9/2 plus 2 minus 9/4 plus 2 minus 1/4. Now, if I try to show this on a diagram, this is how it looks. A y-x graph. This is the equation diagram. Y is equal to x square minus 3x plus 2. This point here is your minima, the value. This is occurring at x is equal to 3/2. And this value is y is equal to minus 1/4. So the minima occurs at x is equal to 3/2. So be careful with that. Minima, where does it occur? It occurs at 3/2. What is the depth of the valley? Depth of the valley is minus 1/4 from the x-axis. That is the meaning of it. So the minimum value is minus 1/4, which happens at x is equal to 3/2. So on a diagram, this is how it looks. It's a valley where the deepest point is at x coordinate 3/2. Put it up. Clear? Now let me give you one more. And you guys try now, same thing. Let's say y is equal to minus x square plus 5x minus 6. find maximum or minimum value of the function. Using the previous one as a reference, try to do this thing.
So can you show the previous page?
Done?
Yes, sir, done.
Try now. Aaron, give it a try. It's okay if you get a wrong answer, but give it a try. That is the only way you will learn fast. You want to learn a cycle, get on it, fall down once or twice. You keep staring at the cycle, you will never learn. Try. It's okay if you get a wrong thing, but you can use the previous question as a reference and try. I'll show you. Step 1, dy by dx should be 0. What is dy by dx? Minus 2x plus 5. So minus 2x plus 5 is 0. X is equal to 5 by 2. Meaning at x is equal to 5 by 2, it can be a maxima or a minima. Step 2, d square y by dx square, we have to check, which is nothing but d by dx of dy by dx. This is how you write this thing actually. So don't worry about what is this exactly meaning. It's in double differential meaning is this. Differentiate the function already 2 times. So that guy would be d by dx of minus 2x plus 5. That's what you got now after first differential. This is minus 2, which is less than 0. Meaning, therefore, at x is equal to 5 by 2, we get a maxima. What is the value? So y max at x is equal to 5 by 2. So minus 5 by 2 whole square minus x square, no? Minus of 5 by 2 whole square plus 5 into 5 by 2 minus 6. This is minus 25 by 4 plus 25 by 2 minus 6. That is 25 by 4 minus 6. I think 1 by 4. Luckily, we got 1 by 4 again. Every time you won't get 1 by 4. Luckily, we got 1 by 4. So if you try to draw this on a graph, sorry, we get like this. So this point here is occurring at x is equal to 5 by 2. And this y value is occurring at 1 by 4. That's the meaning. Now it's a peak. Now, most of the times in the physics part, right? At least most of the times you need not do the second part only, because exam they'll ask the question directly. Find the maximum value of this function. So it is understood. There is no need to prove the second part. But still, again, I'm just showing you because you need to know how it works. Most of the time, only with the first part you'll get the answer. Put it up. Ask me any step you didn't get.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, I didn't understand that. Why do we have to double differentiate?
Okay. So after this, you got 5 by 2, no? Now tell me whether this is a maximum or minimum. After the first differential, you got 5 by 2. You tell me whether it's a maximum or minimum without seeing anything.
It can be either.
It can be either. How do you differentiate that? We saw na, in a minima, the double differential is less than 0. In a maxima, double differential is greater than 0. So this double differential is a differentiating thing. Na? That will tell you whether it's a maximum or minimum. So that's why we have to do the second double differential in order to check whether it is a maximum or a minimum. See, what did we get here? Negative, right? So negative occurs for what? Maxima. Previous question, see, we got positive, na?
Yes.
Positive occurs for a minima. Got it?
Got
The
it.
double differential is that second test, which will tell you whether it's a max or a minimum. That way. So with a single differential, you can't figure it out. All clear with this? Let's say an application, then we will go ahead and that. Now, how will they ask in the exam? No one will ask you the question like this in the exam. In an apple orchard, there are 50 trees. See, the differentiation is actually the easiest part. Getting it? The main part in this question is converting a verbal problem into a calculus problem. There are 50 trees, and each tree gives 800 apples. For every new tree that you plant, the production decreases by 10 apples per tree. Meaning there are 50 trees, they're giving 800 per tree. If you plant 51 trees, then it will become production 79 per tree. If you plant 2 trees, it will be 780 per tree. Are you getting it? The more plants you plant, the production keeps decreasing, because like maybe in a limited space, if you keep too many plants, they might not get enough resources. So the question is, But the advantage is, see, na, for every new plant, you're getting extra apples also, na? You're getting it? If you plant 50 trees are giving 800. If you plant one more tree, you're getting 790. I agree. It decreased by 10, but now it is 51 into 80, right? Got it. The new tree produced 790 apples, but in return, you decreased how many apples? 500 apples decreased. So there is a compensation also. So the question is, how many more plants can be planted? Plants can be planted to maximize the production. Now, see, look at this question. To maximize the production. Matlab is indirectly telling you maximum. So in most of the questions, right, you need not do the double differential. After the first differential, you get the answer. Because he's already told you it's a maxima. So there's no need to check only, but okay, I'll show you. Now, the questions will come like this. There is no equation, nothing. Completely verbal statement. Now, how do you do this thing? Think, I'll give you 2 minutes. The differentiation, what I taught you till now, I taught you at a higher level. So that is actually not the problem. That much differentiation you'll be able to handle 11th and 12th physics. Think for a minute. Try if you can do it for 2-3 minutes, then I'll show you. We'll do more problems like this, don't worry. But if you see, this is a very practical problem. Show you. Let's start like this. The most important thing is to create variables. Let the number of new trees be x. Let the production be p. So what is p? Number of trees into apples per tree. How many trees are there? 50 plus x. How many apples are there per tree? 800 minus 10x. Do you agree? Because for every one tree, your production decreases by 10. If you plant x trees, your production will decrease by 10x. There you got a quadratic equation. Put it on, I'll show it on the next page. Let the number of trees be x. So x is a variable. Let the production be p. P is also variable. So p is depending on x.
Sir, how 800 minus 10x came?
So it's like this, na? For every one tree, how much are you decreasing?
By
10,
10.
na? If you plant 2 trees, 10 into 2. If you plant 3 trees, 10 into 3. If you plant x plus 10 into x.
So but
No?
above we have done apples upon tree, no?
Come again.
In the upper statement, it is number of trees into apples upon trees, no?
Apples per tree, right? Not upon tree, apples per tree. That is this, na 800 apples per tree, right? Each tree gives 800 apples. So if you plant 1 tree, the trees will give us 790 apples. If you plant 2 trees, they'll give 800 minus 20 apples. That is 780 apples per tree. Clear? Now, so we got the equation P, which is 50 plus x, 800 minus 10x, multiply. 800 into 50, 40,000 plus 800x minus 500x minus 10x square. 40,000 plus 300x minus 10x square. This is P. So step 1. Now see, now the maximum minimum starts. dP by dx is 0, which is 40,000 ke liye 0, 300x is 300, 10x is 20x is equal to 0. We get x is equal to 15. Actually, question got over here. That's it. This is the answer. 15 trees you should plant. Now the doubt is, sir, how do you know it's a maxima or minima? Question only has two maxima, right? There's only one option then. Are you getting it? Answer got over here, but let's check. Step 2, differentiate the function again. That is d square p by dx square, which is nothing but d by dx of. Normally we won't do this in the exam. It's a waste of time. If you ask you for maxima and you got x equal to 15, then there's no discussion there. X is 15. So this would be d by dx of, what is this? 300 minus 20x, which is minus 20, which is less than 0. Therefore, it's maximum. Right? If it is negative, it's a maximum. So your answer is 15 trees have to be planted to get a maximum. And see, once you got the equation, it is just one differential, nothing much. "15 trees have to be planted to get maximum." Put it up. Copied?
No, sir.
Yeah. Put it down. Now, if I try to plot the production versus number of trees, this is what you would see. First, the production increases till 15 trees, and then again it decreases. X0 matlab when you didn't plant any new trees. So this was the equation of that 40,000 ka thing. 40,000 minus 300x plus 20x square. There was. So if you keep on planting more and more trees, it will become zero again. You planted so many trees, none of the trees are producing any apples. So there is a limit. Not you can find, if they ask you what is the maximum number of apples, then P max, you can substitute also. But the question is how many trees have to be planted, na? So not fine, we can find that also. 300 into 15x minus 10 into 15 square. This is 40,000. This thing is 4,500 minus 20 to 50. That is 225, na? This thing turns out to be 2,500 to so 42,250 apples. This is the maximum apples you can get. That is the peak value. So you have to plant 15 trees to get maximum, and maximum number of apples you get is 42,250. If they ask you find the maximum number of apples, you have to substitute. But if they ask you how many more trees, you just need to find x ka value. So you need to understand when to stop the question. There is no need to do till the end. If the question was find x, I would say stop at step 1 only. Question is over. Because why do you need to test it out whether it's a maximum or minima when I'm asking you find a maximum? Are you getting it? That is there. Because the exam mein saving even 10 seconds makes a lot of difference. If you save 10 seconds on 5 questions, that is 50 seconds, 1 minute almost. Maybe you can do one more easy question somewhere. And not only that, when you do the questions fast in exam, right, that gives you a kind of confidence boost. You feel good. And when you feel good, you do questions better. When you do better, you feel even better. So it's a cycle. Knowing a subject is one thing, writing an exam is another thing. So be very clear about that. When I was in 11th and 12th now, my friend, right, Sabir, he's very good in physics. He's better than me in physics. Meaning he is the guy, you can say he taught me a lot of physics also. He's very good. Getting it, the kind of explanations he used to give when he was in 11th only, right? He was tremendous. But final exam when we wrote AIEEE, that was the JEE mains exam. My all India rank was 185. His rank was 9,300 something. Reason, Sabir was so good at the subject. When he goes to the exam and sees a question, he thinks, "Arey, this question could have been done like this also. This question could have been like this also. Arey, just sit and solve the question, arey. Why the hell are you going and appreciating the question in the exam?" You get the point? You want to appreciate the question, you do that after the exam gets over. Na? In the exam, shut your mouth and solve. Solve as many as possible. This guy does that. He's very slow. Because he's thinking too much, too beyond this thing. That's another problem. He's doing a PhD there. Look at the difference in rank, even the subject is better. Luckily, JEE exam, right, is lengthier questions. The questions were tough and you need to actually think. My rank was 360, his rank was 630 or something. So the rank gap came down. But still I was doing better than him. Reason, I was fast. So solving a question, writing an exam is something, knowing a subject is something. And when you have both of them with you, you will be tremendous results you get. Clear? Let's see one more thing like this. sum of two numbers is 10. Find the maximum value of the product. This thing I always get confused. It's okay, anyway, you're not an English class. That's it, simple verbal statement. Okay, there are two numbers whose sum is 10. What are those numbers? I don't know. You can take any numbers. It can be like 1, 9, 1.5, 8.5, anything. And when you multiply them, you get a product. What is the maximum value of the product you can get? Think for 2 minutes. Let's see. Okay, someone got 25. Let's see. Let the numbers be x and y. So you're saying x plus y is 10. And the product is, it's called the product p is xy. So whenever you get like this thing, what you're not supposed to do, there are two variables, right? So what is y? 10 minus x. Agreed? So you got p is equal to 10x minus x square. You can substitute x also. That's it. Now the problem starts. So it is 10x minus x square. You're asking for maximum minimum. Step 1, dp by dx is 0. It is 10 minus 2x. X is equal to 5. Actually, question got over here. That's it. This is a maximum value. There's no need to do for step 2. So when x is equal to 5, p becomes maximum. How do you know p becomes maximum? That was a question. But I will show it to you later why also. So what is p then? So if x is equal to 5, y is also equal to 5. So p is equal to 5 into 5, 25. That's the maximum value you can get. So the maximum value, of course, when x is equal to y is equal to 5, and the maximum value is 25. You want to check for step 2, you can check for step 2 also. Step 2, d square y by dx square, differentiate, you get minus 2, which is less than 0. It's a maximum. Yeah, check it out. So hope you're getting my point. You can just differentiate once and you'll get the answer. But the problem is you have to get the equation first. So the verbal problem, how do you convert into an equation? That's what you have to learn. Good enough. Let's see one more. Copy. Next one. Now let's see a more practical problem. Turn in the page. Let's say you have a lot of sheep and you want to build a fence. Right? So a fence of length 100 meters is used to build rectangular enclosure. Find max area of the enclosure. Meaning you want to build a fence, you have to build a rectangular, you're building a rectangular fence. It can build like this, it can be like this. You're getting, main thing is the total length is constant. You can build like this. You're getting it? So there are different possibilities. You can build like this. So among all this, how will you build a fence? So length is 100 meters. What is this 100 meters? Perimeter, na? This total length, right? This length is 100 meters. So keeping that constant, you can build whatever shape you want. You can build like this, you can build like this, anything you want. What is the maximum possible area? Right? So start like this. Let the rectangle length be L and breadth be B. Start from there. Those are two variables. Because for the rectangle L and B are variables, we don't know how they can be. So start with that only. Let the variables be L and B. Perimeter is given. He is asking for area. Try. This is quite similar to the previous question. 3 minutes. Everyone should give it a try. It's totally fine if you're getting a wrong answer, if you're stuck in the middle. But the point is when you try, your brain will learn. When you say you're learning something, it is nothing but synapse connections between your neurons. You know, when I say what is 2 into 2, see, Taki will say 4 karke, without thinking. The reason is that 2 into 2 4 is 4. The connection has become so strong. The moment I ask you, the brain fires a signal. But if I ask you what is 13 into 18, you will think. So if you actually know how your brain learns stuff, that is how it is. Same thing happens with cycle also. When you're learning a cycle the first time, the connections are not there. These are the connections between your eyes, right? The hands and the legs. All the body parts have to be coordinated in order to be able to ride a cycle. But once you learn that, all the connections are formed, they generally don't go away that easily. Okay, someone got 625. Okay. How do we start? Let there be a rectangle, length L, length B. Perimeter 2 times L plus B is 100. Now you're asking for area A, which is LB. So from here we get L plus B is 50. That's it. This became like previous question only. See. So this is 50 minus LB is 50 minus L. They have to eliminate one of the variables. So A is 50L minus L square. You want maximum minimum. So dA by dL should be 0, which is 50 minus 12 is 0. We got L is 25. If L is 25, B is also 25. Therefore, the maximum area occurs when L and B are 25, 25. 625 meters square. So meaning a rectangle will become a square. So for a given rectangle, a square is a maximum area. For a given perimeter, square is max area. If you see this in the previous questions are identical. Sum of the numbers is 10, sum of the numbers is 50. Find the product of the value, find the product of the value. Exact same question. I just made it a rectangle area, sheep. I added some more story into the question. Give it a try. Ask me if you're confused anywhere, any step you didn't get.
Sir,
Ask me.
so but in the question it is given that the length is 100 meter.
A fence of length 100 meters. Master, this is a total fence, na? I never said length of a rectangle is 100 meters.
Okay, sir. Yes.
The total fence ka wire which you brought is 100 meters. Length of the rectangular fence is L. Now the same question, if I can twist it a little more. Can I turn the page? Turning the page. Now the same question, say. Let's say in your farm, there is a mountain on one side. So there is a hill. So luckily for you, now you want to build a fence. You'll build a fence like this with 3 sides. In the farm, there is a hill. And now we want to build a fence with mounted, the hill as one side. So that you can save some fence ka length, na? Sheep anyway won't jump over the hill and go. So you're trying to save some fence ka length. So you can make a fence like this. We want to use the hill to block one side. That means you have to build only 3 sides. That is, we are building only 3 sides. Now find maximum area. Everything is same, 100 meters square perimeter and all is same. It's a continuation of the previous question. So you have a 100-meter fence and you want to build it in your farm, but there is a hill in your farm. You want to use that as one side. It is still a rectangular fence only. So if you're just building 3 sides, find the maximum possible area. You actually saved some fence. Other scams on? Anyone got the answer? Yeah, right, Paredi. See, the story is still the same. Let the B and let the length be L. Or you can take 2L and B also, doesn't matter, same thing. Now, what is the perimeter? Now, the perimeter is not 2L into this thing, no? It is L plus 2B. Got it? This was 100 meter. What was area? Area is still L into B. So from here, L is 100 minus 2B. So substitute the 100 minus 2B into B. So area A will be 100B minus 2B squared. Maximum minimum, dA by dB is 0. Now see, whatever variable you get here, you have to differentiate with that variable. If you got A in terms of L, differentiate with dA by dL. You get the same answer. This would be 100 minus 4B is 0. B is 25. If B is 25, L is 50. That means maximum area is 50 into 25. 1250 meters square. Just by having hill on one side, you got double the area. Check out the steps. The main thing in this and the previous question, right? One L will be missing. You saved some length and with that added to the area. Check out the steps. Now, this is what I mean to say. No one will ask you every time the previous question. I can change the question little, it becomes something else. Minimum area is 0, Nare. Why you want to build a fence then? Think, does it make sense? Minimum area means what? You just build an open fence like this. Don't close it only. Done, okay, 0 area. There's no fence. Or this is the best thing. Just put 100 meters in a straight line. There's no rectangle on 0 area. You're wasting your fence, nothing much. But since we are very cost efficient people, we will not waste any more. So there, using differentiation, you learned how to build a fence for the sheep with maximum area. Now, I know most of you don't have sheep, but yeah, you can use it for kids also. It works. Maybe this is how they plan, I guess. When you have your school assembly, make a big ground or something for all the students to stand. Maximum area. Clear with this? So let me give you some homework problems. All copied? Try them and come for next class based on this thing. Sum of two numbers is 50. Sum of two numbers, wait, I'll give you that also. Sum of two numbers x plus y is 50. Find max value of xy, x square y. Two different questions. What is the maximum value of x into y? What is the maximum value of x square into y? A wire of length 100 meters is used to build a arc like this. This angle is theta and this is a radius. Find the maximum area of the max area of the arc sector. Max build a sector. Find max area of the sector. Instead of building a rectangular fence, I built a sector now. Arc and two sides. So what is the maximum possible area of this guy? You'll get these questions in the notes. I'll be sending the PDF, don't worry. Then we have y is equal to x cube x square minus 3x plus 2. Find maximum or minimum of this thing. Y is x plus 1 by x. Find maximum or minimum of this thing. What else can I give you? One more. We have a resistor. Wait, I'll just give a function that is better. Y is equal to xy . Six plus 2 square. Find max value of y. So these are the 5 functions. So this is your homework. Give it a try and come next class when we meet. The first thing we will be discussing these 5 problems, and then we will go ahead. Next class, will be done. After that, we have something called integration. So differentiation. If differentiation is good, integration is easy. That's easier than differentiation. And after that, we will go back to kinematics. Kinematics is still not done.